Hello, everyone. Hi. Hi.
Welcome, welcome. All the peeps.
It's good to see you all. Look at you.
Okay, we got one more person coming in.
Squeezing the door before it shuts.
All right, guys, welcome to the Sid City Social Club for Tuesday, July 5th. We're glad you're here. I'm Mel with SidCity.net. All right, over to Sid.
Hello. It's lovely to see you all. Happy Independence Day for those of you who are feeling particularly independent. And I think that it was probably a good excuse to cook some food outside if anyone has a chance to do that, or inside and see a couple of members of the family or whatnot. Obviously, I don't care very much about Independence Day, but that's partly because I'm nothing to do with it. But we celebrated it anyway because my wife, Charlotte, absolutely does care, and she festoons the gate outside with her grandfather's United States flag and couple of ruffly things. Don't know what they're called. They're not bunting, they're not flags, but they're sort of frilly. And red, white, and blue tablecloths and all that stuff. So I've been asked to talk a bit about a project that we are kicking off, which is inspired by a thing I read on the BBC quite a long time ago now. About a dress that went around the world. I don't know if any of you heard about that. And everybody contributed to that dress and made this dress. But several dozen people, a few men and a lot of women and a lot of people who probably identify in other ways. And but it was really interesting because they're all from different countries, and it made me think maybe we could do a similar thing, but not a dress, because it's just a bit specific. You've got to have sort of seamster skills. And I thought, well, maybe we could do a cumulative art project. And that means either we send a canvas around the world, or 3 canvases in different parts of the world on different continents, say, and then it gets put together as instructed in a central place, so that there's not this massive canvas floating around the world on a big aeroplane. And we figured that we could swallow the cost of postage, so that's probably not going to be an issue. Basically, it'd be lovely for everyone to have to be on the same page, quite literally. So that's basically the idea. So have a think in the next few, because you can actually contribute in any way you like. If you don't feel you can draw, or you don't feel you can do anything, something is still possible, I bet. Either, some wonderful diamond art or something like that, or a little bit of embroidery. It can all be put together. So that's basically the idea. And I just thought it might be a lot of fun and to see what comes out the other end. But hopefully, as the thing accumulates, people will be able to see what's going on the piece from photography and kind of mock-ups of arrangements and whatnot. And we'll definitely have some fascinating art, and hopefully it'll be really entertaining as well. So there you go. That's it. Project. Next.
All right. So the link is in the chat. It's sidcity.net/art project, because we try to keep it complicated. As you saw on there, we do have a theme. It's one of Sid's favorite questions to stymie people with. What does love mean to you? So if you've never quite been able to put that into words, now you can put it into art.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that reflect us, I teased this last week, but it's finally here. We have the anthology. Woohoo! This is a collection of essays. There's 16 people who contributed to essays to this, plus a foreword by Alexander Siddig. You may have heard of him. And of course, cover art, beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful art.
This is by our very own Tanya. I love it. As soon as she sent it over as an option, Keelis and I were like, that. So also big thanks to Keelis, who was the co-editor on this.
It is fascinating. I read some of the essays and they're so touching. It's really a marker of this time. It's really a marker of what we've all been through. And the people who have had the courage and goodwill to write their essays have been really amazing, really touching stories. Worth a lot.
And with that, we're going to go wish Anya a happy birthday.
Anya!
Hi.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Anya.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you.
It's
My
good to see you
birthday is
again,
actually
Sophie.
on Thursday.
It's on Thursday.
Yeah, but it's not only my birthday, but also my father's birthday.
You share a birthday.
I kind of crashed his birthday when I was born. He was working a night shift, and his colleagues were joking about what would happen if like the call would be coming, your child is on its way, and about an hour later or so the call came and my father didn't believe his colleagues that his kids had gone into labor.
That's great. And growing up, it was always your kind of birth. You eclipsed his birthday. It was always your birthday that mattered more and more, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially when I was smaller, people would like wish me a happy birthday and totally forget him, which is kind of sad. But since I'm older now, that doesn't happen so often anymore. They think of him now.
Do you sometimes go to do 2 birthday parties, or does your dad not like parties very much? Or?
No, he doesn't like parties, but we always celebrate together.
Oh, that's actually really touching. It's really nice, like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, we threw him one for his 50th birthday, even though he didn't want one.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, I find parties excruciating, especially if I'm celebrated. It's just the worst case scenario. I'd like to just be in the bathroom for the whole thing. Because everybody comes up to say something and you've got to say thank you so many times. But it's cool. I completely empathize with your dad. It's great that you share the same birthday. It's really quite unusual.
Yeah, I tried to drag him on today with me, but it's 3 a.m. after 3 a.m. and he was just too tired.
So what is your favorite kind of film?
Probably sci-fi and fantasy stuff, or like period dramas, but not like the romantic kind of stuff. I, for example, read Charles Dickens's Bleak House in 11th grade in the original version, and it took me like 1.5 years or something to get through it, just because I liked the BBC series so much.
Yeah.
But the book was good as well, but difficult to get through, but not as bad as Macbeth was. Macbeth was horrible to read.
Yes, I think that's an understatement. Charles Dickens is definitely not as difficult as Shakespeare. He's not actually that hard. He's just really colorful. He's really full. He's a completionist. You know, he fills out every kind of idea, and so all his descriptions are incredibly vivid. But it's English wasn't your first language, so even more ridiculously complicated. You really had were they school projects, or did you just set these things for yourself?
Macbeth we read in my advanced English class in school, and Dickinson I read on my own.
Wow. So just establishing that you like sci-fi though, which I find, and fantasy, which actually I think is, the fantasy stuff is kind of romantic if you look at it from a, big art picture point of view. Do you like late 19th century classical music by any chance? Do you like romantic music? No. Okay, maybe you are genuinely unromantic. That's possible.
I'm like the 80s and 90s music kind of person.
Oh,
I hear a lot of 80s and 90s music.
Oh yeah, I like 80s and 90s music too, actually. That's really good music. So what is your ideal fun day out with someone you like to just hang out with? What would you like to do? I'm gonna try and trip you up, you see. I'm gonna make you say something romantic.
Probably going out with my friends.
Yeah.
Like I like the nature and stuff, so probably going for a walk, maybe visiting in German it's called a Landschaftspark, which is basically old factory stuff, which has been renaturalized and made into event locations and places where you can go climbing, or where they have a summer theater and stuff, some place like that.
A really good idea. In your opinion, and I've been asking this a few times recently, what is the best idea you've ever had?
Probably starting art and drawing and portraits, because that has been kind of an escape when everything gets too much. I start drawing.
You're
Like
just a wonderful
I
drawer. I
used to
remember
draw
seeing your
in
paintings, drawings.
I used to draw in class because at a younger age, I was really bored because I was really good at most classes. And yeah, not always, it wasn't always like I could keep up with the class and do something else entirely. English class, for example, which had nothing to do with my level of English, but more to do with not having the best English teacher for an advanced English class, and a lot of students in it who would have been better in the basic English class, but had to take an advanced class, so it usually ended up being English.
That's amazing. You speak great English, it has to be said.
Much better since I started attending meetings and talking to people in English again.
We have some value, we have some use. We get you talking English and getting much better at English. I know that Petra is basically learned English on the site while we've been, because when she first came, she was like not speaking very much English, and then my goodness, she speaks great English now. And have you been drawing anything recently? Because you showed us some beautiful drawings last time.
Yes, I have been, but I think Mel has arranged the meetup I had with Franny.
Hurrah, that's what I was fishing for. Good.
That's Franny's friend Vera, and Franny is next to me. And we were together at SetCon. There were a lot of Star Trek, Star Wars actors, and some Doctor Who there this year. And we decided we wanted to go, and we met up there. And yeah, it was one of the best weekends I ever had. We made some new friends and stuff, and yeah, I made a new friend there, and we're already planning to stay in the same hotel room next year. It was really amazing.
Oh, you all look so glamorous. You look terrific. You look it's like having so much fun as well. It's lovely.
Nana was there, and I took a picture with her. I couldn't resist. And she was so lovely and nice, and she gives very good hugs.
Yeah, she is lovely and nice, and I agree. She gives very good hugs, and then you do a terrific Terry Farrell as well. A lovely Jadzia.
Thank you. But you don't want to know how long that takes to do or to get rid of.
Oh, really? You've done a really beautiful job with it. The way it curves around your face is really lovely.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
That is one of your drawings, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
And I actually gave it away.
What?
I finished it.
Did you give it to Nana?
Yes. I finished it. I was going to FedCon Friday morning, and I finished it Friday at 2 a.m. And yeah, she liked it. And I think it's one of my best portraits.
It is astonishingly good. I mean, it is photorealistic. I mean, even the subtle shape of her mouth, which is quite an unusual shape you have got, and the set of her teeth, it's actually really, and the eyes are spot on, you know. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Gracious me.
And that's Bo-Katan of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I was trying to stay like in the drawing style, which is probably why it took me a couple of months to finish it, because it just wasn't going my way for a long time until I kind of got into the flow and into the technique for this particular art style, because it's not my usual style of drawing.
Right. It's gorgeous. It's it reminds me of that old movie Metropolis. It's in black and white. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's the one I'm working on at the moment.
Wow. I love it unfinished. I mean, that is phenomenal. That's wild. Yeah. How big is that?
It's A4.
You know that, I mean, if you told me that was finished, I would be like, that is astonishing, because it just hints at hair.
It's pretty small.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Not that big.
Wow. Do you think is that tattoo art or just paint?
No, that's a singer Mika, and he did this kind of thing where he was throwing paint around for a music video. They had a cover shooting for some magazine at the same time, and I used that picture as reference for this. I liked all the colors and I love his music. So
is that the guy who did? Oh, what was this? It's been around quite a while, since the late 90s, the early 2000s. Is that when he was doing stuff, or is he very contemporary?
I think he started around 2007. because he
wow.
was the host at Eurovision this year.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I think I've had one or two of his songs. I would sing it right now, but I hear it in my head, but I can't remember the words to actually help sing it. But yeah, I think he's great. But do you see what I mean? It looks beautiful just like that, with just the hint of the hair. You just haven't, that unfinished nature is really quite interesting. So that's pretty great. Grace Kelly. Yeah, I just read it I just had a look
Yes,
down.
that as well.
He's the guy I thought he was, and he sang ballad about the tune was like da 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 da
Yeah.
da da da. Oh, that song. I can't remember the words because it's literally 10-15 years ago since I actually heard it, but I love that song.
That's Billy Brown.
Really Brown.
But it's also from Mika.
It is, yeah. I'm hoping it's from Mika, otherwise I've just sung a song that is completely wrong. Well, I think you are just smashing is an English word, which means splendid, which means terrific, which means wonderful. And you are all of those things and a really terrific artist. And I'm still not entirely convinced that you are devoid of romance.
We'll see. Maybe later in life. But it was a delight talking to you, and you really lifted my mood since I have to write an exam on my birthday. So that was a good pick-me-up.
Yeah, good. Well, I hope it carries you through the whole exam and you come out the other end smiling. Nice talking to you, Anya.
Nice talking to you.
Thanks, Anya. Happy birthday. Good luck on the exam.
Thank you.
All right, our second birthday person is not here, so if she turns up, we'll go to her. But for now, we're going to go meet Linda.
Hello.
Linda, hello.
Hi. I'm just new, so I just want to introduce myself to the group. And now my brain is empty of everything I was going to say.
We'll fill it up. We'll fill it right up.
But
how are you, Linda? Where are you? Can I ask?
I'm in New Hampshire. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, around the corner.
Yeah, I do have a funny story. The other day, I was at I work at a library, and there's a little girl running around. I hear, "Get over here, Jadzia!" And I'm like, "Oh my god, like Star Trek!" And it was a little baby Jadzia running around. So that was awesome.
How awesome! How is library work now post-COVID? We're big librarian fans here. We've got some good friends who
are libraries. It's doing great, and we've thankfully been kind of not feeling the struggle that some libraries have been having.
Yeah. Are you in an interesting, really forward-looking library? Really like innovative? Have you got a chance to?
I try to make it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do run a science fiction book group, so.
Oh, lovely, fantastic.
Yeah.
And you paying a lot of attention to the digital side of things, because I know the libraries are forced to focus on that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we've done a lot of that since COVID, and we just got a renovation. So we have a makerspace with a 3D printer, a Cricut, and some digitizing stuff. Yeah, but I'm a new Star Trek fan. I only got into it this year, and my boyfriend got me into it. So I was like, "Oh, sure, I'll get into it." And then I became a bigger fan than him. And I'm on Enterprise now, but yeah, Deep Space Nine took my heart. That was my favorite.
Oh, that's great.
All my favorite characters. I can't even pick a favorite. I love you all.
No need. Why bother? It's like picking a favorite pair of shoes. It's quite weird too.
And it's really helped me a lot. My mom died of COVID, January 6th, 2021.
Oh my God.
So what a day. And now I can't stop hearing the day. But
oh my God, that's just awful. Linda, it's terrible.
She was immunocompromised, so I get a lot of but I hate that.
No. What was her name?
Wanda. And she loves science fiction. She got me into science fiction. Like she used to watch Battlestar Galactica. She got me into that. She did watch Star Trek too, but I didn't fully get into it till this year.
What was her favorite thing? Was it Battlestar?
Battlestar was her favorite. And she just loved the Sci-Fi Channel. Anything that was on there, she'd be watching.
Oh my goodness.
And horror movies. She loved
horror movies. I like horror movies.
She was in a nursing home when she passed. There was an outbreak. And the nurse was telling me, I went in there one day and she's just watching Friday the 13th. I'm like, I hope she didn't scare the other residents. She was great,
did she do anything for a living, or was she a homemaker?
She worked at a consignment shop for a long time, and then her and my dad opened up an antique shop right on the main street of my town. And she worked there until she got sick with cancer. And she was given 2 months to live, and that was in 2002. and she beat it. She just kind of got dementia slowly from the cancer treatments.
Yeah.
But she was in a really good space. We were gonna see her the next week.
Right.
Yeah, it's just bad timing. But
It was, but it was quite sudden, I understand.
yes, it was very sudden. She got it, although she held on. They gave her like a day, and she held on for a whole week.
She's a hanger-runner. She was a hanger-runner.
She was, because she in 2018 she had a really bad stroke, and they gave her 2 days, and she came out of that.
Oh my
So
goodness.
she was really stubborn.
And
She was the
how's your
sweetest
dad?
woman, though. We're on Deep Space Nine now, and I'm like, Dad, I tried to drag him in here like Anya,
Oh, that's
and he was like, No, he's too shy. He's too
I
shy.
don't blame him. It's incredibly difficult, and I would have dragged him. I mean, I would have made it difficult for him. I would have insisted that he tell us a bit about himself.
It's kind of hard because I don't have speakers. I just have the headphones, and
Right,
maybe he doesn't
right.
want to wear my pink speakers. I don't know.
Why
Headphones.
not?
I don't know. But I just wanted to say hello. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
It's lovely to talk to you too, Linda. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh.
Did you mention someone else? You said your boyfriend?
Yes, we're kind of long distance. He lives in California. We met on video games, and
cool.
we play video games. Guild Wars 2 we were playing, and Overwatch. We play Overwatch, and
Yeah,
now we're
okay.
doing a tabletop games, but online.
Cool.
Yeah. His name's
Nice.
Jim, so I'll say hello for him.
Well, shout out to Jim, absolutely.
Yeah, I try to drag him in here too.
No, they're all too shy. You're surrounded by shy guys.
Well, he's actually working on a tabletop game that he's been putting off, so he felt bad. He felt obligated to work on that, but maybe I'll drag him in here someday.
Please do. We'd love to meet him. But tell us what, for those of us who are game illiterate, what is a tabletop game?
Like Dungeons and Dragons. But there's many forms. The one we're working on is called Thirsty Sword Lesbians.
Oh,
So
great title.
I know, it's a great one. It was kickstarted. But we've done Dungeons and Dragons. We've done something called Genesis. He's the guru. I don't know. I'm kind of babied because I'm not good at math.
You have to be good at math to play this game?
No, but I do make the DMs kind of help me out.
Okay.
I was a history major, so not the
Oh
greatest
wow!
at math.
And that's what a fascinating thing. You became a librarian after being a history major, because that's actually quite useful to you.
Yep, an art history minor, and then I just got a certificate in library technology.
Oh my goodness!
So I can hope to get full time.
Absolutely. So what is your most what period is your do you have a love affair with? What's the bit that what's your area of real interest?
French Revolution.
Ooh.
I have a tattoo of Charlotte Corday's signature because I wrote my capstone thesis on her.
Oh my goodness! Who is she? Who was she?
She's the one who stabbed Marat in the bathtub. I know, I'm a little morbid. But I wrote my capstone thesis, and that got me an A, so I was excited.
Congratulations. What especially about her, because obviously she was driven to stab Marat, but what was about her that was excited you?
I just found the way she wrote her letters fascinating. So I wrote my thesis on how she kind of utilized the rhetoric of the time, which is very masculine, to talk about her actions. And it made a conundrum because there was even a guy who got executed because he fell in love with her and wrote a love poem, and he got executed the next day.
By whom? for that particular act? Yes,
because she had this weird hold over people, and it's fascinating. And I find that fascinating, that over the years she has this weird hold on people.
So assume, and I am, by the way, don't assume I'm ignorant about this particular subject.
I just assume you're smart on everything.
Not even vaguely. So give us a bit more about her. So she obviously must have been quite a prominent figure.
She was a poor noble. Her mother had passed away. She was raised in a convent. She lived in Caen, France, in Normandy. And that was kind of a hot spot for pushback against the radical, chop heads off, let's put it that way. And she was in the town that was kind of the hot seat, and she kind of got roused up. I just I'm a little bit morbid, and I just love historical figures.
That's a fascinating. It's a fascinating period, and you know what?
There's so many layers to it.
It really is, and it's an area that I found really interesting as a kid. But for one reason or another, I have never gone back to have a look at it, to study that particular period of the French Revolution, in a weird way that the American Revolution kind of eclipsed it, and
it was influenced greatly by it.
There
probably would be none Yeah, and like Lafayette switched sides over, and he's seen as a flip-flopper. It's kind of interesting that I learned more about Lafayette from that angle first,
Yeah.
because he was kind of a mixed bag there.
Yeah.
People didn't know what to think about him, and then here he's like the big hero, which understandably, it's just very interesting to get that
Absolutely.
angle.
It's nice to broaden my horizons beyond just, watching the terrible movie Les Miserables one.
They did make a 2008 TV Belgian film about Charlotte Corday, but I can't find any with subtitles, and unfortunately, I
really?
can't speak French.
Oh no! But if you watch it on the computer, you can it will make subtitles for you somehow. I don't know.
There
how that
probably
works.
is something for that now.
Yeah. What do you think the greatest fallacy about the French Revolution is?
People oversimplify it. Like people even about Charlotte Corday, I'll use that example. Just call her a royalist, and it's not that simple. There's many factions, and she considered herself she would say a Republican, meaning the Republic of France.
Yeah.
But the royalists would use her as propaganda, and the other side would use her as propaganda, which is another thing I find fascinating, and I wrote a lot about.
Yeah. And were you in, because it's interesting that you found another woman that's not Marie Antoinette, because everybody's just obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Will you do me a massive favor if
Yeah.
you've got the time? And
I'm talking too much about this.
Please, no, don't you ever dare say that. That's not true. Would you have another look at your treatise and come up with a few points that you think would be really interesting, and give us like a 5-minute lecture on this process and what you think is really interesting? If you can find something that because I think it would be fascinating to hear about someone who, frankly, I didn't know existed, but that I'm betraying my ignorance there. But it probably, a lot of us would probably be quite interested to hear that, and it seems like something that you're really passionate about.
Sid talk. Someone just said in the chat.
What's that?
Someone said, "Give us a Sid talk." That was a great pun.
Yeah, we do Sid talks too. Absolutely. That's and they're as long as you want them to be, and people will sign up and come and listen. We love those. We have got lots of experts in different areas, but that would be fascinating. So will you do that if you can, Linda?
Right now?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, I wasn't ready.
No.
Someday, yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe for my birthday.
Like in, a couple of months. It doesn't have to be now.
I just wanted to thank you all, and thanks for Star Trek, because it got me through a rough time.
Great. Well, thank you.
And it was lovely meeting you.
Sorry about your mama.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Linda. And no, you're not expected to be like lecture ready right now. But when you are ready, let me know and we'll get it set up.
Of course.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go check in with Jessica Gifford. We've got a couple of Jesses here, so let me just make sure that I'm not giving all of them a heart attack.
Hello, Jessica.
How are you?
I'm very well indeed, thank you. How are you, more importantly?
I'm pretty good. It's been
Where
a nice...
are you in the world?
I'm in Ireland, Dublin, Ireland.
Yes, I completely forgot, of course. And you had really interesting, we talked about, it's all coming back to me, sorry, sometimes over the months.
No, it's got to be overwhelming. There's so many people here.
Oh no, but you are, I'm just gonna kind of relocate it in my mind palace. So how has it been this last year? Because we haven't talked for quite a while.
Yeah, no, it's been really busy. Kids just finished another year of university.
What are they doing? What are they up to?
I have one doing marine science, I have one doing applied physics, and I have one doing engineering.
Oh my goodness. How do you even keep up with all that, unless you're brilliant at all three?
Yeah, I don't keep up with any of it. But I'm definitely being supportive, because it's challenging, obviously, to keep up that schedule for them. So
they are so ambitious. That's such a wonderful selection of things they're all wanting to do, and so varied.
It really is. I was hoping to have an artist, and I'm still hoping maybe one of them will drop out and do art instead.
That is such the inverse of most moms. Like,
yeah, no, I wanted them to be interesting, so I'm hoping that we get something out of this.
I love that. No. That's really cool. Well, you can encourage a little bit of artistry on the side, even for engineers and marine scientists have things they love to do that are art related.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think my daughter wrote a poem today that she shared with me. They're doing some other writing and trying to get some art kind of over the summer, I guess, when they have time, right?
That's great. It's really great. How is Ireland at the moment?
No, I think think it's been okay. I think, it's obviously a very different culture, right? But no, I think it's really nice. It's very welcoming here.
Yeah.
Made a lot of friends, and so it's just like home at this
Yeah.
point.
Well, that's
Been quite
great.
a
I mean,
while.
I think
Yeah.
it's, I've only been there a few times, but I did a couple of TV shows there. I think I told you, I think it's a really healthy environment, psychically. I don't think, I mean, everywhere has its problems. People are rude, but generally speaking, it has a nice trajectory. So I kind of like that about it. And they celebrate things that other countries really don't celebrate. They really, really admire their writers and poets and their, art, all the people who are basically poor because they're doing creative stuff.
Yeah.
Highly respected. So they're rich in respect, which is kind of, I mean, as long as you can pay your water and food, that's kind of pretty much all you want from life. And have any of your kids got to that stage where they're trying to just beat you intellectually, just completely just beat, that's all we want to do, beat you? And because I used to do that as a kid, to my mom and my stepfather. There was a point where I was kind of meek and relaxed and very humble outside the house, but in the house, oh boy, that's when my tempers flared, and where I would relish an intellectual argument with my father and try and just destroy his arguments. I never did.
No. Not quite like that. No, I think they're just so intellectual in general. They read a lot, and so I would never compete. They've done languages since they were small children, so they speak a few different languages. They're very smart. So there's no point. It's just a nice discourse at this point. So
yeah, absolutely. And so are you spending a lot of time with them, or are you spending most of the time at college?
Well, I have one in Galway, so I only see her on holidays and when I drag her home. And then the other two are at home, and they're so busy. Engineering is such a busy degree, I would say. So I don't see them a lot.
What's your aspiration? What are you dreaming about?
Well, I think it's kind of about where they end up, right? I don't want to be too far from the majority of my children. So if they end up back in Oregon, which is their goal, I think, I'll probably follow them home. We'll see. Yeah. We have a bit of time, but we'll see.
Absolutely. And that's, so what would you do? What do you feel like doing? What are you going to, does your work transfer pretty much anywhere, like IT or something?
No, I manage a technical support group. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
I could probably be remote anywhere.
It's very transferable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any feelings about how the way because from a distance you get to see the US in a different way, with a little objectivity?
I think they've been a little bit depressed about it lately. I think reading stuff has been, they were in a bit of a funk, I'd say, for the past week or so, just kind of like, I don't know, absorbing, right? So we have those conversations, and for them going back to the US would be going back, they want to go back and work on the reservation. So I think it's slightly different for us. We can escape and stay on, a different area.
What would that be like? Could you, I mean, I don't mean to be, I do mean to sound ignorant. What, because I don't think I've ever knowingly been on a reservation. Kind of narrative that's put out there is partly in order to make sure we're aware that there are real problems in some of those societies, which there has been forever, as far as I know. But I mean, I'm exaggerating forever. But what I'm sure life is not that. I'm sure it is much. I mean, that is obviously the sad side of it. But could you tell us a little bit about it? Do you mind?
I think, as far as the community is concerned, I think it's difficult anywhere. I think there has been a lot of hardships. I do have extended family that's been historically homeless. There's a lot of poverty. And so I mean, even we were talking about that tonight, right? Going back, and even being able to afford these things, and potentially, right, if you go back to these jobs and having that family and knowing that that's going to be part of it, being a part of the community, that we're going to have people just coming in and they're going to want to come and eat. We're going to be feeding potentially entire families if we go back.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that seems traditional. I mean, that seems the nature of looking after all comers, is within the community, seems like a traditional element of that society. What do you think is the single issue that probably needs most attention right now? I mean, obviously every nation is different.
for the people. I think, healing, obviously, right? I think we all could use a little bit of kindness, right? And so I'd say that. I think on a broader scale, I think America really needs to deal with a lot of its bigotry and a lot of its racism. And so I think that, as a person attempting to find jobs in the US, I did frequently run into situations that were definitely very, they were racist, right? And so and I'm fairly light compared to some of my family. And so then dealing with, as a human, and understanding where where a person would start to give up and start to realize that maybe they're not as valued.
I mean, there's a lot of talk in California, really. I mean, there's talk all over the nation. There's only one state there's any trying to really look at it, and that is of reparations, and that's both for African American community and First Nation. And it's not just saying I'm sorry, which has never come, but it's saying, and this is how sorry I am, and certainly lands that are now national parks could be returned, and certainly lands that haven't been turned into horrible cities can be returned. Is that something your kids are interested in fighting for?
I think so. I think at least stewardship of the area, right? Bringing back some more indigenous pathways for healthier earth. I think especially my engineering daughter. It's
a difficult experiment that's happening in Australia and New Zealand, but it is happening. And New Zealand are making a lot more progress, but it's a much tighter area. It's easier to but the sense of assimilation with the newcomers being assimilated into the Maori tradition is much more, it seems to be quite well progressed, at least from an outsider's point of view. And in Australia, there is enormous respect for what they're called Aboriginals. I think that there is a tide that we can catch that will really do something about that. And maybe the forlorn horror of being alive during this period, when so many terrible things are happening to people and so many terrible people are doing things, is that in a sense we really can go up from here and really, really progress with some of these relationships. Because these idiots who think that everything is about white separate nations and all that nonsense. And I hope that will give us, a chance to talk about construction, and your marine scientists a lead, please.
Yeah, no, definitely. I hope so. Hope it just brings a little bit of healing. I think there's too much hate, and I don't know why people bother with it.
You're not kidding. Absolutely. Well, listen, Linda, it's just lovely. Jessica, it's lovely talking to you. Sorry, I went slipping into the pink headphones there for a second. It's great talking to you, and I'd like to talk to you again. I'd love to meet your kids one day if they've got the courage to come.
I think it's like 3 a.m. so they're sleeping right now, so I might be able to drive them out another day.
Just wake them up. It'll only be 5. Thank you, Jessica, and thanks for staying up so late too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica. All right, we actually are at the end of our list because we had several people who did not show up.
Oh wow, fair enough. Well, that's unusual and wonderful. Well, we can do something. We can make up something that's ever happened, and it's actually really refreshing.
We did it, guys. We got to the end of the internet.
Yeah, we have reached the end of the internet. Oh my goodness, who'd ever think it would run out? Hello. Oh, thanks. Thank you very much.
It's hilarious because you guys were next to each other on my screen. So Colin disappeared and then showed up in the next screen.
No one ever gets to come in here. It's hilarious. Colin just came in. It was terrific. It was really cool.
Bye, guys. Have a good week.
Night.
Good work and good night.
Bye.
Bye.